If you're a new band and you've just been asked for a rider and you're thinking, what on earth do I put on this thing? Do I actually ask for anything? Or do I just say we're okay, we don't need much? Then this video is for you. Today we're covering what a rider actually is, why venues and techs care about it, and what exactly to include so you can show up organised, look professional and avoid as much stress on the day of the gig. Now, we all know stories of grumpy sound techs, or we've had sound checks ourselves that have gone wrong because equipment are not being correct, all of which can be solved with a clear and well constructed rider. And at the end of the video, I'll show you where exactly you can grab some free templates to start building your own riders. Let's start simple. A rider is a document that tells a venue, event organizer, or tech everything they need to know to run your show smoothly. Think of it as your gig blueprint, and it normally comes in two parts. First is your tech rider, so everything the tech team needs to make your show sound and look good. So inputs, backline requirements, monitor preferences, stage layout, and power requirements. Second is your hospitality rider, so the human side of things. So drinks, food, parking, dressing room requirements, allergy information, and any non-tech requirements. And no, riders are not about demanding 50 white towels and a bowl of brown M&Ms. They're about avoiding last-minute scrambles, missing equipment, stressful sound check, and information being buried in long email threads. When running gigs, so many times we had bands that wouldn't send through their tech requirements for various reasons, but then they'd get to the venue or side of stage for sound check and start unloading all of their requirements on us. So as organisers and tech crew, it would stress us out because all of these things could have been solved ahead of time by the information being sent across, especially when there are specific requirements you need for your show. If you're thinking, we're a small band, we don't need a rider yet, let me stop you right there. Because even if it's your first gig, having a rider makes you look organised, helps the venue prepare, reduces changeover times, makes the sound techs 10 times happier. And often these are the kind of things that get you invited back again and again. So venues and organisers love working with bands who send across clear information, are organised and act professional, and techs especially love it because nothing slows down a show like guessing your setup. A well-written and clear rider is basically your way of saying, we're easy to work with, we want to help you, and we know what we're doing, even if you're brand new. So first up, your tech rider. Here's the breakdown of what every tech rider should include. Number 1, band lineup. Who plays what? It's simple, but it's crucial. And you'd be surprised how many people don't do this, and the awkward moment at the side of stage when the tech crew don't know how many people are turning up, or who does what. Second is input list. So which channels are you going to require and how many of them? So kick, snare, bass, guitar, vocals, all of that can be included here. Now, whilst most sound engineers will have their own way of organising on the desk, the most common order is to go drums, keyboards, bass, guitar, vocals. And for each input as well, you should highlight what type of input you need. So mainly if it's being mic'd or you're going to go through a DI box. This is simple, but it's important to include. And you don't want to be the band that turns up with additional members and loads more inputs. Especially like the one I had when I was running a festival. The band turned up with double the amount of members, so we actually didn't have enough channels on the desk. And had we known ahead of time, we could easily taken a bigger desk along with us and avoided a whole lot of stress. Number 3 is your stage plot. The rest of your rider is the what, your stage plot is the where. It's a simple diagram showing where everyone stands and what gear is where. Now, there isn't a standard way of making a stage plot, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of different ones over the years of working in the industry, from those that are photorealistic imagery to those that just have boxes with text on. Now, I'm a big advocate that you don't need fancy software for this. Clear boxes and labels is what every tech team really wants to see. Keep it really simple. Boxes, instrument name, input number, and the names of the band members, that helps a lot. One more thing is to add where you're going to need power on stage as well. We have a full guide on the Stage Portal website about how you can make your first rider. Number 4 is monitors. So how many you need, whether they're in-ear monitors or wedges, and also put in what people need in their monitors. And this way your sound engineer can get them to a rough position for you and then just tweak in sound check. Number 5 is power requirements. You'd be surprised how many shows fall apart because someone forgot an extension lead. So clearly state if you need any power on stage. Being a drummer myself who uses a sample pad as part of my kit, I've often found myself having to ask again and again for power to be put at the drum kit because it's not often put there. Next is backline information, and this is really in two parts. Firstly, what you're bringing. Are you bringing cabs, a drum kit, a keyboard? And secondly, what you need the venue or organizer to provide. If you're not bringing those, then the state you need them. Having this clear ahead of time stops any last minutes of, oh, I assumed you were bringing that. And also, if the venue or organizer is providing stuff, you need to know ahead of time because you don't want to be lugging all your gear across to the venue to then find out you never needed to do that in the first place. So some additional things is track playback. If you're wanting to play anything through the PA that you're not triggering, please include this. Any wireless requirements and any special cues. On the day, providing set lists with cues to the venue or tech crew is really helpful as well, and it lets them plan any changes you might have in your set and just lets them see everything in advance and be able to plan the entire show accordingly. So the clearer your tech rider, the smoother your sound check and the smoother your show. And trust me, a good sound check equals a relaxed crew, a relaxed band, and always a better performance. What to include in your hospitality rider? This one is simple, but it's still important. You're not asking for luxury. You're giving the venue the info that they need to take care of you. So this includes things like drinks, so water, soft drinks, teas, coffees, snacks or meal preferences. Important is allergies, any dressing room requirements, parking information. If you're bringing your own van or truck, really needs to clearly state that. And then guest list as well. So for small gigs, keep it humble and respectful. Some water on stage. Where do we park? And have you got a place for us to store our stuff whilst we play? Those are key information that you need. For bigger gigs, you can start to list a few more comforts. If you're traveling from a different town or city to the show and the venue isn't supplying food, then it's a good idea to ask them for a list of nearby restaurants or food places that you could be able to get food ahead of the gig. And remember this, it's not about being demanding, it's about giving the venue the right information ahead of time. So here are some critical mistakes that can derail the gig. First of all, we don't need a rider, it's fine. Simply no. This is how miscommunication happens. You think you're being helpful as a band to say, we'll be fine with whatever's there, but often this isn't the case and there's specific requirements that creep out. And this leads to stressful sound checks where everyone's frantically trying to get everything right, which all could be avoided. The next mistake is overcomplicating it. Keep it simple, keep it clear, and keep it readable. Like I said, especially with the stage plots, one of the biggest mistakes is not updating it. If your setup changes, your rider should too. So many shows we've had the wrong rider with the band getting to the stage with new members or change up just to go, oh yeah, that's last year's rider you've got on file. And on the other end, it's sending different versions. So nothing ruins a sound tech day like unclear information. So be clear to mark which one is the latest version and should be used. Another common one is writing a rider only once you've been asked for one. Having a version ready to go so you don't have to scramble to put one together and end up missing key information is really key. Now, if you're not sure about any of this, don't use AI. I've seen some sound techs starting to get AI generated stage plots and they are wildly inaccurate and just completely wrong. So it's basically not even worth sending it in the first place. And you want to avoid any hallucinations that might be asking for wrong equipment or things that don't exist. So ensure there are no surprises on the day of the gig. Now, how to create a rider. You can absolutely create one from scratch. Word, Google Docs, even a whiteboard picture works. But if you want a proper structure and templates and a clear format that venues and techs absolutely love, I've linked 2 free templates below. And if you want an even easier way, with Stage Portal, you can create clean, standardized riders in minutes. Update them anytime. You can store it, share it with venues, and link it straight to your gigs. It saves a ridiculous amount of time and stress, especially once you start playing more and more shows. So that's everything you need to know to create your first rider. And honestly, once you've done it once, it will start making every gig after that so much smoother. If you want the templates, they're linked below. And if you want a tool that helps you manage your riders, gigs, set lists, and everything else you could need as a growing band, you can try Stage Portal for free today. And if you want more tips about the logistics side of gigs and how to get organised, then make sure you follow Stage Portal.